In my last Skyrim challenge run, I used Novice Spells only, but during that run I completely ignored Conjuration magic. This wasn't by choice, my thick skull just wasn't capable of logical thought. So I came to the conclusion that to right my wrongs, I should go all out and beat Skyrim with only Conjuration spells, on legendary difficulty. So for the rules in this challenge, they will basically be the same as the Novice only run. I can only use Conjuration magic, meaning bound weapons and any beings I can summon to do damage. I will allow the use of shouts in two cases. Number one is obviously when it's necessary to continue the main quest. Number two is when I feel like I need a slight edge to actually get through a fight. I know that this is very much up to my own discretion and could easily be abused, but I think you'll see later on just how much of a headache this run was at some points. For character creation, I chose a Breton, solely because they start out with the Conjure Familiar spell, which basically spawns a weak ghost wolf to fight for you. It's really bad, but completely necessary if I want to abide by the challenge rules. I named him Splish Splash I Was Summoned. I was going for a joke there, but I didn't have enough space for the full name. Trust me, it would have been great. After witnessing the average white barber taking a little off the top, I run for my life into the keep with Hadvar this time. I learned my lesson from last time. I don't want to be dealing with heavily armored Imperial officers. I won't lie, I mostly ran for my life, but once I got out into the open world, I chose the Mage Stone and, you guessed it, went into Embershard Mine. I realized pretty quickly that my familiar was not quite up to the task of taking on multiple bandits, so I deployed my good old friend, the Tactical Rock. Rocky Ball Boulder here is very good at using Skyrim's physics against anything with a heartbeat. Now I know what you're thinking, Jesus Zeke, you're not even 5 minutes into the run and you're already cheating. Well, let me explain. First of all, I'm not damaging the enemies here. Rocky is, of his own accord. The enemies are deciding to run into him for seconds. And lastly, maybe chill out a bit, man, it's not that serious. Anyway, getting through here was terrible, but at least Rocky got to have a good meal. I don't know why, but the visual of like 5 naked men laying around some rubble is just really funny to me. That's probably the most Jeffrey Dahmer thing I've ever said. In the final room, I tried my best to kill them with the ghost dog, but I eventually just grabbed all the loot I could and ran straight out. On the way to Whiterun, I discovered a glitch in the Matrix, just a little glimpse into the code of the simulation I find myself. But then I remembered it's a Bethesda game and promptly moved on. Normally at this point I would go straight to Bleak Falls to skip forward the story a little, but of course I don't think my wolf would be capable of beating that yet. So I go to Farengar in hopes of speeding my way to Master Conjuring, which is done through the spell Soul Trap. In a normal game of Skyrim, if you were to go up to a dead body and continually cast Soul Trap on it, you can level your Conjuration skill all the way up to 100 with a little patience. So I buy Soul Trap and go out into the wild, hoping to find a body it would work on. I tried finding that giant that the companions were fighting outside Whiterun, but it despawned. Then I decided to go find a wolf. I killed it, but the spell didn't work on it. Okay, so then I went to Whiterun to try it on a cow. It worked, but I instantly got a bounty and had to pay a fine. Shit, okay. So I tried going back to Embershard Mine, but all the bodies had despawned. So after this, I head out into the fields near Whiterun, and got stuck in a constant loop of dying to bandits and fucking mud crabs. I'm serious, it was a fight for survival against a mud crab, not helped by the fact that they were basically one-shotting my familiar. I went to this little cave outside the walls of Whiterun, and barely survived by roping this random hunter into the fight. Her dog even died in the event, and it was all for nothing because Soul Trap just wouldn't work. I came to the conclusion, after about an hour of this bullshit, that I'm pretty sure the unofficial patch fixed the bug that allowed this exploit in the first place. So now I'm back to square one on trying to improve my skills, and I'm pretty sure the best way to do it is the old-fashioned way as Todd Howard intended. So once I got back to Whiterun, I bought 2 spells from Farengar. Bound Sword and Reanimate Corpse. A lot of you yelled at me in the comments for not using Bound Sword in my Novice Spells only run, and yeah, I'm mad at myself too. This genuinely changed my entire perspective on this challenge once I got it, and honestly made it a lot more fun. So now it's time for Bleak Falls Barrow. Let's see how my Bound Sword and Spectral Pupper can do against a bunch of bandits and Draugr. First little watchtower went pretty well actually, but this is a common tactic used by the games when doing challenge runs. It lulls you into a false sense of security, gives you a boost of confidence before kicking in your legs and laughing in your face. Because let me tell you, Draugr are the biggest pain in the ass. But first, we gotta deal with Snake Whale, some rats, this big ol' spider, and another rat. That was not a racial comment on Dark Elves. Now I gotta deal with Draugr, and funnily enough, the biggest help to me was actually the very same things meant to kill me. Traps. Ha, stupid. I managed to crawl my way through the dungeon eventually. It took a few attempts, but by taking it slow and making sure to take them all out one by one, I got through it. I also figured out what was causing my claw doors to be broken. I had Skyrim Together installed, but obviously I'm playing in single player, and that apparently causes this bug. Shout out to the commenter that pointed this out to me, it saved a few headaches. When it came to the Overlord, I learned the hard way that battle axes hurt a lot. Second attempt, I leveled up halfway through the fight, and while I won't go over every single time I level up, just know that every time I basically just put perks into one-handed and Conjuration, and basically poured all of my points into Magicka. That was stupid of me, because I could take as many hits as a raw sausage by the end of the run. But either way, I killed the Overlord and went back to Whiterun. I fetched myself the Flame Atronach spell for a good upgrade, sorry Puppo, but you're not quite up to snuff. Now it's time for the first dragon, and I feel the full brunt of Nature's Toaster. I don't know why, but I tried to soul trap the dragon, which, you know, was kind of pointless considering that once he dies I get his soul anyway. So I get turned into the proper way to eat a Pop-Tart multiple times, but eventually, through the art of hiding and attacking when it's distracted, I managed to take down. Quick chat with the Jarl, become the Thane, deny Lydia's advances, and the next thing you know I'm on my way to the College of Winterhold. Yeah, I'm doing some college quests again, but don't worry, I'm not going to do the whole quest line. I'm only really doing this to gain access to some better spells and equipment. Luckily, I was able to use a Conjuration spell to get in. Now for the first lecture, I'm going to allow myself to use a ward. I know it's not Conjuration, unless you start grasping at straws and saying that I'm conjuring the ward from my hands, but that's not how this whole challenge thing works. I'm simply letting myself use it because it's the only way to get further in the quest line. I don't use it any other time, not that I ever would, because this ward really sucks. Anyway, I got some Conjuration training from Finis, draining all of my savings in a matter of seconds, much like when I get paid from work and go on Amazon. Now I'm going to Saarthal for some good old grave digging. Once again, I'm forced to use a different spell to keep going. This time, it was Flames. Of course, after the last video, I'm not going to touch flames with a 10-foot pole unless I have to. This, unfortunately, is one of those times. After slogging my way through some Draugr, I get spoken to by the Psijic Order. They said they haven't judged me yet, but I don't know, the way he looked at me kinda got me peer pressured into completing a prophecy. I haven't done this in a while, but if you want to skip back to the content, just go to this time code on screen. But I want to take a second to thank all of my members. You guys are incredible for supporting this channel as much as you do. I appreciate all of you so much. You really don't know how much it means to me to have all of you financially supporting this channel as much as you do. I also want to make sure that everyone watching this, but especially my members, join the Discord server to get all of the benefits of being one. In the members only chat is where I post the scripts to all of these videos, post the early access links, and all of my bloopers from recording these. Just make sure your Discord account is linked to your YouTube channel. The link to the server is down in the description. Anyway, back to the video. This room in particular really pissed me off. I'm about as strong as a wet noodle, so I already can't take many hits, and these bastards decided to add runes to the floor. Great. Fantastic. Amazing. But eventually I got past that and had the pleasure of dealing with a Draugr Wight. This is where the tactical implementation of a little technique called the duck and weave comes in. You run in, give him a smack and back up so he can't hit you. Works like a charm. There were some more runes, but I just used my Atronach as a sacrifice to activate them from a safe distance and I go through okay. Now for the boss at the end, he was once again really easy. Like seriously, I feel like a restless Draugr is more difficult than this guy. Either way, I'm sent back to the college and then I'm sent again to find some books. Felglow Keep. Fuck me, here we go again. This time, even the outside was hard, and once I got inside, the first room yet again gave me a headache. Even now that I have an Atronach to do all the damage for me, it's still very easy to die. I won't lie though, it was a lot easier than last time. After letting out these vampires that decide to go to war for me, I go and unleash Orthorn. Now, you guys told me in the comments last time that I didn't even need to fight the Caller. Yeah, apparently I can trade in Orthorn as a sacrifice and I can just walk straight out of there. Thank you so much for telling me that, because I genuinely don't know if I could take another fight with this lady. So yeah, sorry Orthorn, but you gotta go, buddy. Then, after a while of searching around for the exit, I'm free to leave and go back to the college. Tolfdir gets rudely interrupted by this Uncano asshole, and it turns out that the Psijic Order guy that Skyped me before wants to see me in person. So yeah, I do what I gotta do. Go speak to the Augur of Dunlane, and then I'm on my way to receive the staff of Magnus. Well, I would be if I actually gave a shit. I mean, I went to the dungeon to find out the location of the staff, but then I realized I didn't want to deal with all that. I've gotten some better gear, now sporting an adept hood and some jewelry to boost my magicka. I also picked up this follower from the college. I helped her out with her magic, she turned me into a fucking dog, and now she's indebted her life unto me. So, let's finally go to High Hrothgar to get this ball rolling. I'm forced into a shouting match with them, but when I go to learn Whirlwind Sprint, a group of hired thugs come after me. I don't know how the fuck they got up here. I mean, they must have been really determined to get me. But oh my god, the Greybeards destroyed them. I've never seen a group of thugs get so immediately fucked up by old men. I feel like this is revenge for the last run when I struggled for a long time with them outside of Sovngarde. Oh, and you're probably wondering why I got thugs onto me? Well, on the way to the Dwemer Ruin for the college quests, I went past the Orc Stronghold that's an ebony mine. I may or may not have taken a sample for research. And then I went to Whiterun, and of course, I now have cultists after me. They always seem to just come one after the other, but I didn't really need to worry about it considering I have an entire population of guards that don't quite like violence. I also picked up an Ice Atronach, which is basically a direct upgrade over the Flame Atronach except for ice-resistant enemies. It's quite nice to have now. So now, as you can probably tell, we're at Ustengrav. I put the Ice Atronach through its paces quite a bit, and it's holding up remarkably well. This first room went pretty well, and after a quick AFK session staring deeply into my Atronach's eyes, I keep going through the dungeon as per usual. It honestly wasn't too bad, especially now that I've leveled up my Conjuration and one-handed. I'd say I'm doing pretty well for myself, even for legendary difficulty standards. After grabbing the note of Jurgen Windcaller, I need to talk to Delphine. I have a quick chat with her, go back to the Greybeards to get the full unrelenting force shout, and then I'm on my way to Kynesgrove to help kill a dragon. Well, I say help, but I kinda just hide behind rocks and let my follower and Atronach do all the damage. Then something pretty crazy happened. My Atronach decided to go for a bit of a ride, and he actually did enough damage to the dragon to send it tumbling to the ground. What is this game, man? After a bit, the dragon dies, and then it's time for the Thalmor embassy. This time, I did something a little different and didn't rely on the drunk for a distraction. This time I got this creepy dude to hit on the barmaid and I landed her firmly in jail. I feel bad for this one, but hey, it's new content I haven't seen in my 10 years of playing this game, so that's fun. Then, it finally happened. I killed the first Thalmor dudes, including the wizard. Then I donned his clothes. I was actually able to sneak past the outside enemies. It didn't help too much, considering that once I got inside again they all aggroed anyway, but it was nice to have a moment of peace. Then of course it all went to shit and I died over and over, but after a bit of tedious save scumming and spamming my Atronach, they all went down and I was able to escape, saving the prisoner dude, the lady that got captured, and Malborn. I'm a regular old hero. Now I'm off to save Esbern, and upon reaching the Ratway I actually had a lot of trouble with the first two guys you find. I'm not sure why, but they killed me a lot. Eventually, after using Unrelenting Force, which is definitely in the rules because I'm conjuring the spirit of Talos through my words, shut up, I was able to get past them. Overall, getting Esbern wasn't too bad, though I did almost die of old age waiting for him to open the damn door. I safely transport Esbern back to Riverwood after sending a would-be assassin tumbling over a rail into the sewer water. Sorry about that. And now we're off to find Skyhaven Temple. I ignore all the battles going on outside. I swear one of these days I'll actually participate in this, but today is not that day. Inside, I help out a little in killing the remaining Forsworn, and then after a short time of doing brain-dead simple puzzles, we reach the temple. I decide to upgrade my armor to the Blades armor found in here, and give the rest to Brolina to kit her out a bit more. I've now got to learn the shout used to defeat Alduin, and so I'm sent by the Greybeards up to a mountain to talk to Party Snacks. First, I gotta learn Clear Skies, and on the way up, I'm met by too many ice wraiths, perilous blizzards, and worst of all, goats. Fuck you, bro. After a chat with the Yap Master, I'm sent off to find an Elder Scroll. First, I took a quick trip to the college to buy myself the Bound Bow spell. It was going to happen sooner or later. The Stealth Archer comes for everyone. Then I went to Septimus, made my way to Ulftand, and I actually did the entire dungeon the proper way. I even had a wooden plate ready to go, but I had some strong self-restraint. Everything in this goddamn place was a struggle, but it did have the benefit of leveling my skills up quite a lot, especially my archery. It's strange just how quickly it leveled up actually. Considering I'm this late into the run, it was actually up to par with my one-handed and conjuration skills by the end of it. My bound weapons also now have the added ability of instantly dispelling any summoned Atronachs and undead. This is really useful against enemy conjurers, but it gets really annoying when one of your own summons gets in the way of your bow shot. One part that I really struggled with was the fight between the two people outside the entrance to Blackreach. Genuinely, if this guy didn't have the fireball spell, it would be 10 times easier. It has such a large area of effect that it instantly kills me from a good distance away. A lot of you probably know my frustration with AoE damage, blatant sorcery, but hey, at least this isn't a permadeath challenge. I eventually kill them through great effort and many deaths, and then I get to Blackreach, and oh my god was this a shit show. Thalmor, dwarven robots, and I accidentally spawned a fucking dragon? Like what? How did this get here? I finally dodge this flying lizard, get to the scroll, and after a few button pushes I can leave and get finished with this game. Kinda. But first I head to Whiterun to once again upgrade my armor. While I was in the Dwemer Ruin I picked up some hardened Thalmor armor. But I'm going to upgrade the main torso piece with dwarven plate. It doesn't look as cool, but the armor rating's better. And now it's time to fight Alduin. I died more than I would have liked, which ideally would be 0 times, but honestly it wasn't too bad. I used the spell Conjure Undying Ghost, which uses all of your magicka, but it summons a ghost that has stats based off how much magicka was spent casting it. So I was feeling pretty good about putting all my points into magicka. That doesn't mean that doing this is a good idea, because holy shit, I feel every single hit like a truck versus a chihuahua. But luckily, I was able to mostly circumvent damage by hiding behind rocks, using clear skies to stop the meteors from falling, and hitting him with my bow from a distance. Alduin is very tanky though, like every enemy on Legendary difficulty, so it did take quite a while. But eventually, he was defeated, and I'm rewarded by having to sit at a table for 20 minutes. I'll skip past the Peace Council, but I did want to mention real quick that I did try to find the summon Dremora spell. I don't think my conjuration skill was high enough, and seeing as I've had to naturally level it up this whole time because the soul trap glitch was patched, I don't think it was worth it to pick it up. It would have been great to have, but I just wanted to say this before someone in the comments does. Dragon trapping time! Simply just call him, dragon rend him, and get it to follow you into a trap, like stealing souls from a goat. With that, it's now time to fly to Skyrim, and we are now in the endgame. Whew, thank god I got through there. I almost died. But now I'm in Sovngarde. Wait, so I did die? Soon was once again harder than he should be. I feel like it's a little absurd that he straight up kills you, as if you won't just end up straight back in Sovngarde for round 2. But before long, I've defeated him, talked to the old heroes, and we are on our way to kill Alduin. Let me tell you, finally getting to this final fight with the end so close was really rewarding. This was a difficult run, and seeing it all the way through without any real hiccups that required bending of the rules felt really good. No insta-deaths, no glitches to stop me from setting my difficulty, just a good challenge that I could sink my teeth into for 13 hours. And yeah, that's how long it took to beat this challenge, by the way. And with that, I beat Skyrim with Only Conjuration on Legendary difficulty. Thank you all so much for watching. Huge shout out to all of my members for the amazing support. Special thanks to Waluigi and TTG Logan for their incredible support as Insane Person tier members. If you want to help me make YouTube my job more than you already are by watching my videos, you can become a member for as low as $1 a month and get all of these benefits on screen. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, but most importantly, have a wonderful day.